Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, two great interviews, one with State Senator Ben Kieckhefer, the second with the Mayor of Elko, Reece. It's all coming up next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Hello, is this D&D Roofing?
Yes, it is. How may I help you?
You did such a great job on my roof. May I speak to the owner?
I am an owner.
Oh, can I speak to your supervisor?
Sure.
How may I help you?
I love your work. May I speak to the owner?
I am an owner. We're all owners. Well, that's why at D&D we work so hard to keep your home safe and sound.
Oh, no wonder.
D&D Roofing and Sheet Metal. Local, employee-owned, here for you.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program State Senator Ben Kieckhefer of District 16. Pleasure to have you back on the program, Senator.
Thanks for being here, Sam. I appreciate it.
We're doing audio only because our Zoom is freezing up here, so we apologize for that. But I wanted to start out by asking you about the letter you wrote to the governor. For those that had not read it yet, would you explain what you said to the governor?
Yeah, ultimately, Sam, this was out of a moment of frustration this weekend when I tried to go pick up a couple of things that I needed to do some housework at Home Depot, and there was just a long line of people that were standing really close together and not wearing face masks. And I think it was indicative of the fact that people didn't have a lot of clarity over where we were, and I think people are frustrated about the uncertainty over the next steps to take to continue to protect Nevada. I think Nevadans really stepped up and made the sacrifices that the governor asked them to. But that faith in him is, I think, quickly eroding without more certainty, more clarity, more communication. And ultimately that letter was saying, Governor, I support you. I support the decisions that you've made, but we need more from you right now. We need you to step up and offer more to the people of Nevada if you want them to see this through.
And I want to point out, we're taping this on the morning of Wednesday, April the 29th, and the governor is supposed to now give a speech tomorrow to tell us more about how the state is opening up, or going to open up.
Yeah, and I certainly hope that he delivers the goods with that, right? We can't have another plan to plan. We need some certainty. And to that point, the governor hasn't updated his emergency directives as of yet. So as of right now, as we stand here this morning or sit here this morning, businesses would be allowed to reopen on Friday. And I think a lot of them are planning to do so. So if his plan is to give a bunch of businesses that have been getting their employees back and perhaps getting inventory and things like that, one day's notice that they have to remain closed, I think that's going to be a problem. So, he sort of outlined the criteria that he was going to be looking at in terms of this phased reopening. But he hasn't really provided the details over what that phasing looks like. So, I'm worried that without a lot of specificity, there's going to be greater frustration. And I'm saying all of this because I want him to be successful, right? I want the people of this state to be healthy, and I think the actions that we've taken have demonstrated that the people of the state are committed to doing that. People, 1 in 4 people have given up their job, given up their livelihood. People are going to lose their businesses because of this, and that's on the economic toll, much less the health toll. So the people have stepped up, but now we need clarity, and I hope that we get that tomorrow.
Are you concerned that if the governor does not give clarity, that we're going to continue to see a certain percentage of the population just saying, enough is enough, I'm going back to work, I'm going out, I'm going to do, because we've seen a slight encroachment on this, but do you think that there's going to be a bigger wave if the public doesn't hear what it needs to hear on Thursday?
I think that's exactly the point, Sam, and I think that's exactly right. I think that people are getting frustrated, and without a clear vision, some hope, some light at the end of the tunnel, people are going to take it upon themselves to end this shutdown. And much like we've said, the virus has a timeline of its own. I think there's a natural momentum in which people have a timeline of their own for when this shutdown is going to end. And I think we can push that out if we need to, with information and with clarity and with leadership. But that needs to start happening.
In every state, there is a major industry that really controls the direction of the state in most things. And of course, in Nevada, it's the gaming industry. Matt Maddox stepped up to the plate by publishing an editorial in the Nevada Independent a week and a half ago or so, and seemed to take the leadership position for the Nevada Resort Association. You're seeing releases from all the major gaming companies now on the Las Vegas Strip talking about the implementation of sanitization for their properties. Do you think that part of it is the governor waiting for the major properties to be able to have all their plans in place before he moves ahead and says, okay, we can go ahead now?
Well, the way I understand it is that Sandra Douglas Morgan, the chairwoman of the Gaming Control Board, is sort of overseeing some of the protocols and implementation processes that are going to be in place for the gaming industry, and that the governor has tapped Michael Brown to lead the vision and process for the non-gaming industry businesses in this state. And I think Michael Brown is well positioned to do so. He has a lot of private sector experience, and I think he's going to be an effective leader. So I think they're sort of probably running parallel paths, and so we'll wait to see what the governor says on tomorrow when he has his press conference.
All right, let's take a break. More with State Senator Ben Kieckhefer when we return.
Safety. We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
Because of UMC, there's a wide open road ahead of me.
Because of UMC, she can grow up with her twin sister.
Because of UMC, I'm here to help you.
UMC, the highest level of care in Nevada.
Hi, I'm Eric Robnett, owner of Home Energy Experts. Has this ever happened to you?
Honey, did you remember to turn down the thermostat?
Forgetting to set the temperature? Not fun. We can help. Our new smart thermostat keeps the temperature set for your comfort all by itself.
I'm feeling hot now.
To increase your comfort, go to homeenergyexperts.com for details. That's homeenergyexperts.com.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
This
And
is
back on Nevada
Nevada
Newsmakers, we continue our
Newsmakers.
conversation with State Senator Ben Kieckhefer. There's a meeting of the Interim Finance Committee tomorrow, and as we're taping this on the morning of Wednesday, April 29th, so this will be on Thursday. You have concerns that the budget is a complete mess at this point for the state, and concerns about the governor's thoughts on this. Would you address that, please?
Sure. Well, the Interim Finance Committee that's scheduled for tomorrow deals with a lot of things, only a couple of which are truly COVID related. But the bigger issue is that we are going to see massive revenue decline, not just this fiscal year, but next. For this fiscal year alone, we're going to see more than $800 million in a decline in our revenue. And we need to take steps immediately to address our spending levels to make our budget balance. We're going to burn through all of our cash reserves this fiscal year and create a much bigger hole going into the next fiscal year, which starts July 1st. And I think it's really important that both the governor and the legislature get together and figure out how we're going to deal with this sooner rather than later so that we can make decisions in June prior to the start of the next fiscal year in order to get our budget under control. I think it's entirely likely we're going to see more than $1 billion shortfall in fiscal year 21. And with having already burned through our cash reserves and using most of the tricks we can use to make things balance for this fiscal year, that puts us in a world of hurt. So we need to get sort of all minds to the table and come up with a plan to address this sooner rather than later.
Do you believe that the congressional delegations across the country, realizing that this is going to apply to every state, are going to look to the federal government for another financial boost that will come down to the states on a statewide and municipal level?
There's a lot of ongoing discussion, obviously, in Congress about what type of support to the states the federal government is willing to give. I don't think it helped that the Senate Majority Leader in Illinois asked for a bailout of their upside down pension system, right? That's going to get a lot of pushback because that is a historical problem that's not related to COVID. So if Congress decides to take action to help bolster the states, I can see them doing it through a variety of different mechanisms, whether it's an enhanced FMAP, for example, which would get us more Medicaid funding and allow us to offset some general fund, things like that they've done in the past to free up some capital for the states. But I don't expect to see a massive infusion of federal cash into the state to offset lost revenue.
Okay, so just spitballing, $1 billion loss to the state budget. What does that result in right off the top?
Look, that is cuts to every category of spending and probably some revenue solutions on top of it. So you can't tax your way out of this, right? I think people will be automatically inclined to try to pick a couple industries and try to get more revenue out of them, but that doesn't even come close to closing that hole. And you can't say that you're going to hold harmless certain areas of spending like education that account for more than 50% of the budget and still actually close that gap. So I think it's going to be a tough time, and the legislature is going to have to make hard decisions. The governor's going to have to make hard decisions. But we have a constitutional mandate to maintain a balanced budget, and we've always done that, and I think we always will.
Special session. I mean, there's a lot of people at this point saying the legislature needs to be involved, and especially with, at times the governor seeming to not have the leadership that he should have. And I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong, but, a lot of people are saying that the legislature should be in special session as soon as possible.
I think, as I said, the hole in the budget for fiscal year 21, which starts July 1st, is immense. And I think it would make perfect sense for the legislature and the governor to come to an agreement over how we want to address that in the near future, and then get into a special session sometime in June so that we can take action to address it. The governor does not have, in my current estimation, the governor doesn't have unilateral authority to do the things that are going to be necessary in order to close that gap, and that he's going to need the legislature to take some action. And the sooner we do that, and if we can spread that burden out over the course of a full 12 months, it doesn't make it easy, but it makes it easier to accomplish the task. If we don't go in and, until later in the summer or the fall, when we may only have 8 months left in the fiscal year, then we're compressing the amount of time that we have to address any shortfalls that may still exist. The governor has authority to create reductions of up to 14%. In terms of budget reserves, or up to 15%, I should say, based on the Appropriations Act, and that's not going to be enough to close the whole line zone.
And that's where we have to leave it. Thank you, Senator, for doing this at the last minute. We really appreciate it, and I know we'll be back to you before too long. Thank you, sir.
I always appreciate the time, Sam. Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. Are you a homeowner who's interested in remodeling or building a home? At Design Outdoor, we can show you how adding natural or manufactured masonry stone can add beauty and value to your home. And we refer only the best contractors. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
Hey guys, are you watching the game at a friend's or the bar again because you can't watch at home with your wife? Or worse, because she kicked you out and kept your couch, your flat screen, and your kids? What's the one thing a man needs when he loses a good woman? A good lawyer. And when he loses a bad woman, he needs a great lawyer. What makes a good woman a bad woman? You tell me. You're the one that can't watch the game in your own home. I'm men's rights attorney Marilyn York, and I represent men in divorce, custody, and family law matters.
Hi, I'm Dave Newman. Remember me? I used to be the house detective, and now I'm a realtor, full-time at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates. A lot of people ask me, how's the market? You know what? It's fantastic. If you're even kicking around the idea of buying or selling, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Call me at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates and just ask for the guy who used to be the house detective, Dave Newman.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take an Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
This
and
is
back on
Nevada
Nevada Newsmakers. We are delighted to be joined by Reece Kieckhefer. He is the mayor of Elko. It is a pleasure to have you on the program for the first time, sir. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much, Shad. I appreciate the opportunity to give you a little bit of insight from this corner of the state and to join your viewers.
Well, it's a pretty big and important corner of the state. It's mining is what drives Elko, and Elko drives not only Elko but Eureka County as well with mining. And it is the second largest industry in our state, so why it gets ignored, I really don't have a clue. But what I wanted to start out with was you wrote a letter, an editorial, to the Elko Free Press. And for those that didn't get a chance to read that, would you share what you said in that letter?
You know what, Sam, I've had a flurry of letters that I've written most recently. The one that went in just this past weekend was entitled, "In Elko, Impatience is a Virtue." Sorry, I'm getting all the different stories mixed up, but you know what? We have been hunkered down up here. We went along with the 30-day plan, and then we reluctantly extended it out to April 30th. And I tell you what, the business owners, many of the public are just, they feel like it's time to reopen. We've had very low caseloads in terms of COVID infections. In fact, right now we've got just 4 active cases, and that's as of yesterday's data. and we have 10 recovered. And so we're managing it. And as I indicated in an earlier letter, I think that our emergency operations center here in Elko could serve as a template for best practices, not only statewide, but I think for other rural communities throughout the country.
So to play the devil's advocate here, totally understandable with the limited amount of cases you've had so far, and apparently mining has done a great job of being disease-free with literally thousands of people going to work every day in the mines. On the other hand, and I'm paraphrasing, but the governor responded to opening up by saying that if Elko opens up, then people from other places are going to come to Elko, and that could spread the disease then. The other thing is the comments from Salt Lake City that if you have health issues that overwhelm the Elko system, that it's going to be Salt Lake and Reno that end up having to take the slack. How do you respond to those folks?
You know, it just does not seem very logical to me that, you know, people from, you know, throughout the state of Nevada would flock here to Elko. A lot of people in the South particularly probably couldn't even find Elko on the map. We are not completely isolated. We have the I-80 corridor. And despite this, you know, we've been able to responsibly manage the spread of the infection. And it's just doing so much economic damage with each succeeding day that we extend this closure. And as you well know, the governor in his last conference came out just this past week and said that, you know, the new benchmark is 14 consecutive days of declining positive infection rates. And, you know, that puts an opening date. In fact, it just reset yesterday. So I really think that he's going to have to walk back that as being the target. And I think that, you know, the real determination of when the state opens up, the decision will be made by big gaming, not by the governor's office.
Well, and that seems to be already in practice because a couple of gaming companies are already taking reservations. It looks like Memorial Day will be the start for at least one or two of the gaming companies, but certainly by the end of May, beginning of June. But it's this time has also given those companies time to put in best practices as far as sanitization. So that in itself is a good thing because, you know, with these major properties opening up, obviously there are going to be visitors from California and other places that have had a stronger incidence of COVID. And so that part makes sense. But I guess the bottom line, though, and by the way, we're taping this on the morning of April 29th, Tuesday, April 29th. So if you're listening to this and you're wondering about timeline, that's when we're taping it. So, you know, as you look at this, do you think that there should be different rules for rural areas than there should be for Las Vegas, for example, and even different rules for Reno Sparks?
Yes, absolutely. I think that a one-size-fits-all approach is not appropriate in this case. Our demographics, our population density is significantly different than that of Clark County and Washoe County. And so I just think that it's illogical to have everything lumped into one group the way that we do.
What about social distancing? Do you think that the same rules on social distancing should apply in Elko as they do in other places? The 6-foot requirement, potentially shutting down half the slot machines, cutting back on table games in terms of the number of people. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I do think that for the time being, we're going to have to continue to embrace all of the CDC guidelines. And I know you've brought up the mines a few times. You know, they have thousands of personnel that go out to the various different sites on a daily basis, and they've been able to operate very safely. And to give you an idea, when the workers hit the parking lot, everyone gets temperature tested, and those that drive their own vehicles out to the sites get temperature checked at the gate. So then also on the buses, they significantly limited the capacity to be able to ensure the 6-foot distancing, as well as on the light vehicles. They've dramatically limited the number of crew that can be in the light vehicles too.
Okay, so you've written at least 2 editorials that seem directly addressed to the governor. Did you ever hear back from the governor or the governor's office?
Sam, I'm still waiting. And, you know, I guess I'm not taking it as that big of an insult. However, I think that my constituents should, because when their duly elected mayor reaches out to the governor's office, there should be an expectation that there's at least an acknowledgement of having received the letter.
Okay, you got 45 seconds. Please take this time to speak directly to the governor and ask him whatever you want to ask him.
Okay, Governor Sisolak, hello. I know that you're in a difficult situation right now. I do know that we have done a fabulous job here in Elko of containing the spread of virus, embracing the CDC guidelines. A one-size-fits-all approach does not work throughout the entire state, and I think it would be just a terrific thing for you and your team of experts to consider affording Elko the flexibility to open up, and it could be even a test case for the state of Nevada, and let us show you how we can do it successfully.
Reece Kieckhefer is the mayor of Elko, Nevada, and it's a pleasure to have you on the program, sir. Thank you, and stay safe, and we hope to have you back on the program very soon. Thank you, and we'll be right back.
A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hey, Dad? Are you learning? This place is great. Huh? You gotta try this.
Wow, this stuff is great. People are gonna love it.
Yes. Yes, they will.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Watch Nevada Newsmakers on YouTube. You can do that now these days. We'll see you on the next broadcast.